Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Iles. I'm the CEO of the Civil Media Company. We're based out of Brooklyn, New York, in the United States. Our mission is to power independent, sustainable journalism throughout the world, and we believe that blockchain and crypto economics are an enabling technology to help us do this. Journalism needs a radically new operating paradigm. When we published our introduction to Civil almost 1 year ago, this was the first sentence. We went on to describe that the rapidly eroding state of journalism, at least from our American perspective at the time, as well as how blockchain, crypto economics, and most importantly, a global movement among journalists and citizens could be just the radical answer we needed to get back on track. Initially, we were humbled by some friendly press and local outreach to learn more and offer support. But then we started hearing from people all over the world. A PhD in machine learning from Mexico asked if he could help because the corruption and violence against journalists in his home country had made him fear for its future. A journalist in Egypt asked whether Civil could help her news organization thwart the government's persistent efforts to block the public's access to their website and social media. And an entrepreneur in India asked if he could start a news company on Civil to help the democracy survive because most media here is sold to politicians and corporations. All told, over the past year, we have had nearly 600 applications from journalists to start news organizations on Civil, and 40% of those have come from outside the United States. Like I mentioned, our stated mission is to power independent, sustainable journalism around the world, and this clearly struck a nerve. And it's because journalism is much more than a craft, it's much more than a business or even an industry. Journalism is how people stay informed, experience different perspectives, engage their communities, and make decisions in civil society. But the business model for journalism has all but fallen out from under it. The internet, once inspiring visions of a free and open information and communication network, has become known instead for its noise, nastiness, and misinformation, and particularly perverse incentives when it comes to journalism, particularly when it comes to programmatic advertising online. And meanwhile, journalists have faced mass layoffs and many news organizations have gone under completely. And it's not getting better anytime soon. In fact, it's getting worse and fast. Civil is a bold rebuke to all of this. With openness, decentralization, self-governance, immutable records, and mission-aligned incentives, we will make a sharp departure from the current media paradigm toward one in service of trust, openness, and justice. We believe blockchain technology will unlock an array of both for-profit and non-profit opportunities to improve journalism, and we believe crypto economics will bind the ecosystem's participants together in service of a common purpose and shared set of values. Ultimately, we see Civil as a globally cooperative, publicly owned domain for independent journalism. Owned and operated by journalists and citizens, beyond the control of the powerful. Committed to ethical journalism, self-sovereign identity, intellectual property rights, censorship resistance, and civil discourse. We believe we can also unleash business model innovations across things like licensing and syndication, reputation and talent management, membership and advocacy, curation and discovery, and even advertising and sponsorship. But like I said, Civil is much more than technology. It's a movement. We need a global community committed to these ideals to work together. Anything less just won't do. So here's how we're going to do it. This is a bit of a look at the types of areas of journalism that we believe blockchain and crypto economics can impact. And we're doing what we believe is rewriting the entire journalism stack from the ground up. Civil will be launching in August with governance and publishing technologies. The governance technologies are very similar to what Harrison was talking about earlier, a utility token that grants you access to join this network. We're using something called a token curated registry model as well as something that has a document that has stated the purpose, values, and working ethics of journalism, that anyone who wants to access this platform as a journalist must pledge to abide, and that the community then uses this token to curate which journalists are in fact abiding by these ethical standards. The idea is that the network grows in value as more ethical journalists join the platform and as more citizens choose to prefer getting their news from Civil newsrooms as a result. Every Civil token holder is motivated to see the Civil ecosystem flourish, and every actor within the ecosystem is held accountable by this system of governance. When you possess a Civil token, you possess real voting power. Everything else in the Civil ecosystem is to be built on top of this notion of ethical journalism. When it comes to publishing, we believe anyone may contribute to journalism around the world, but like I said, they must first pledge by this set of ethics. And violating this set of ethics can actually incur economic loss and even lead to you being removed from the platform altogether in a fully decentralized fashion. But once you're on the platform, you can use our technology to publish content in such a way that you fingerprint the content, so citizens would know that it's in fact you who authored that and that newsroom that authored that. No one would be able to spoof you or your newsroom. And you may even be able to publish the full content of your article and soon audio and video to the blockchain, essentially permanently archiving it and placing it beyond the reach of censorship. Soon after that, we are going to explore commercial areas like licensing, membership, and curation. The companies like the Associated Press, Reuters, Getty, and others we believe have a tremendous ability to leverage smart contracts and crypto economics to better manage their digital property, their digital content, and better price and capture the full value of their content in a more dynamic fashion. With membership and curation, we believe that we can elevate the level of discourse online, where those who are being trollish or hateful can be incurring economic losses, and those who are contributing positively to discourse online can be rewarded. In more social impact technologies, like self-sovereign identity, we believe it's possible to put the ownership of data back in the hands of the citizen so that they are able to experience discovery recommendations and experience content platforms without having to have their personal data harvested by third-party advertisers against their will. And we can even use self-sovereign identity to allow for journalists to report from dangerous regions around the world without necessarily exposing their names. We can also use blockchain to, like I mentioned, archive content in a more decentralized fashion, thus putting it beyond the reach of censorship, or even if the news organization goes out of business one day, that content, the first draft of history, is not lost. Finally, we think that when this network has grown to a certain scale, we can start to introduce a new form of advertising that is built in purpose of journalism first, where there is a permission-only relationship between advertisers and the newsrooms and citizens. So the newsroom is the one who's in control of who's advertising through their ecosystem, and the citizen is the one who's in control of what data they're giving up to advertisers and possibly being even compensated for the advertising that they see. So all this kicks off in earnest when we launch our Civil token later this summer. We already have over 100 journalists committed to our platform from all over the world. And we have over 30,000 people signed up to our platform, eager for us to launch. Tokens will be distributed to participating journalists and citizens, and our governance and publishing layers will go live then as well. We're hoping to onboard 1,000 newsrooms by the end of the year, but I want to leave you with one more thought. It's still just the beginning for blockchain technology and crypto economics. We do not yet know all of its full potential or hidden pitfalls, and often people ask me, are you too early? And to which I say, when it comes to journalism, I think it's almost too late. There are countless brave and brilliant people working tirelessly around the world to address pieces of journalism, pieces of the problem, but I believe that something like this, a global network approach to journalism, can in fact bind these efforts together and create a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts. Blockchain isn't going to solve all of our problems, but it can get people to work together for a common cause better. We can build a better internet for journalism, one that benefits us all and that we alone control. We call it Civil, and we need all of your help to make this vision a reality. We hope that you'll join us.